Hi y'all. Today we're going to walk through a Jack-in-the-Box creation to show simple part creation, making an assembly, doing both joints and joint motion relationships, motion links, so that we've got motions working together. We'll look at both revolute joints and slider joints, and that'll be what we're going to do. So I'm in a part design. It's untitled and it's unsaved right now. I'm going to quickly just make a box, make a cube, and then shell it out. So if I make a rectangle on the floor, I'm going to make it 6 by 6. And then I'm going to use my dimension tools to center it in space. There we go. And I want it to be half of that. And I'm going to go from the top to the origin and make it half of the side length. And then I'm going to extrude it by 6 inches, so I've got a 6-inch cube. And then I'm going to use the shell tool for 1/4-inch walls, and I have a box. And that gives us our box, so we're going to go ahead and save it. And we're going to call this the box base. And I'm going to go ahead and create a folder there. I've got one Jack-in-the-Box, so we're going to save that. And we're going to create a new part design that'll just be our lid. And it's going to be basically the same thing. We're going to do a 6 by 6 square. We'll dimension it in exactly the same way. And we'll go from there to there, and we'll do half of this one. And we'll expand it by 1/2 inch. And I'm going to shell that to 1/4, just like we did with the box. So they look like they belong together. And that is our lid. All right. Now we need another item. We're going to go ahead and create a handle for our box. And I'm going to go ahead and create a sketch here. This one's going to be a little bit more complicated. Maybe this should have been on the wall, but we can orient things the way we want them a little bit later. So I'm going to create a rectangle. I'm going to make it like 4, I think. No, 0.5 that way and 4 that way. That looks good. We'll go ahead and center that and go that direction, that divided by 2. And then we also want a circle at the end. Yeah, we'll put it on that, I think. On one side, we're going to do it at 0.5. And on the other side, we'll do the same thing. And this one, we're going to do some extrusions now. This one, we're going to take this way. We'll bring it maybe an inch out, and I'm going to put it on like a 15-degree taper. Let's shrink that up a little bit. Let's do a 1/2 inch, and then we'll extrude again at that level. I want that sketch turned back on so that I can do this one the opposite direction by about a 1/2 inch, negative 0.5. And that's going to be the part that attaches to the box. And then the handle of this, we're going to extrude symmetrically, 1/4 inch in each direction. We're going to say a join, and I think that's too thick. I'm going to make it 0.125 in each direction. So it's a 1/4 inch thick. And I think I want this to come up and join it. So I'm going to extrude that one more time. And I'm going to say to that object, and OK. I like that. That's pretty good. And then we should be able to extrude that just a little bit more so it looks kind of like that. We'll fillet it a little bit. Just a little bit so we get some nice curve on that. Looks like we need to extrude that way. We need to select our both of those to object. There we go. That's the way we want that to look. I like that for our handle just fine. So we're going to call that handle. One more thing that we want, and that's going to be our platform. That'll be sort of like the Jack-in-the-Box that'll pop right up. So this one is going to be a rectangle that is 5.5 by 5.5, so it fits on the inside of the box. And we're going to center that as well. We'll extrude that by 1/4 inch. We'll add a circle onto that right at the origin. 1 inch looks good. We'll extrude that by just a little bit. 0.5, that'll be fine. Let's add a box on top. No, let's do that with a sketch. And I'm going to do actually this time a center rectangle. And we're going to make it 2 by 2, I think. And extrude that up a ways. 0.75. There we go. And we'll do like a sphere on top of that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and create a sphere on there. Cancel, that's the wrong thing. So let's go to our sphere. We're going to put it on that. And let's expand that out a little bit. And we're going to make this a new body. And that's okay. We'll move it up. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I think we're kind of getting there. I'm going to create another sphere. We'll make this vaguely, put it somewhere there. It's totally the wrong place. That's the harm of working in 2 dimensions. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to move it one more time, and this time we'll create a copy. And we'll move that over. There we go. Let's do a little bit of appearance work. Our eyes are differently sized. I'm not very worried about that. We're going to work out a paint here, I guess. Let's do metallic. We'll do black for our eyes. We'll do like a nice metallic blue for our base. There we go. And let's do something dramatic for the main sphere. There we go. I like that. That is our Jack-in-the-Box. We're going to save that as our platform. And we've got all our parts now that we want, right? We've got the box base. We've got a lid. We've got our handle. And we've got the platform we're going to work with. We want to go ahead and create our assembly. So I'm going to, from the box base, I'm going to click Add to Assembly. And I'm going to say New Assembly. And that should bring in our box. Took a moment. Notice that it says ground to parent. The first item you bring in, you probably want to have grounded, and that is the object that other things are going to move against, right? So the lid is going to move against the box. The handle is going to turn against the box. So the box is our grounded element. It's at 0, 0, 0. That's perfect. I am set. We're going to go ahead and do the lid next. So we're going to right click on it over here in the data panel, and we're going to insert that into the current design. And then we're just going to drag that up and out of the way a little bit. I want it oriented kind of the way it's going to be on the box, but I don't need it to be in exactly the right place. It's kind of better if it's not. So just get it up there generally, and you click OK. And then I want to go ahead and add a joint. It's going to be a revolute joint. It's going to, spin around this way, and it's going to be connected like here. So inside of relationships, I'm going to add a joint, and that's J is the shortcut key. And when I'm doing this kind of joint, I want to think about the way that is going to turn. When it's connected here, right? This is the snap point I'm getting. It's going to turn the way this circle is, right? But I want to start with the lid because it's going to move against the box. So I want to choose the one that's going to move first. And I've got that disc. I see it can be face down, it can be face against a face that way, or it can be this way where it is kind of like a disc sticking out, right? And that's the way I want it for this one, so that when it revolves, it's going to revolve that direction. So I'm going to do that again. I kind of follow that edge until it snaps in place. I grab that. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm getting a little bit of lag here. I'm going to do the same thing down on the box itself and click, and it goes there. Right now, because the last one I did was a slider, it says slider. Typically, you're going to see this, which is a rigid joint. In this case, we want to choose revolute. If it doesn't go the right way, you can change which axis you're on. I'm going to go back to my, I guess Z-axis is what I want there. Okay. Z-axis. And I'm not going to worry about limits right now. I don't want to over limit this thing because I'm going to have a few things working together. So I want to choose my limit carefully. The next thing I need is a handle. And if the lid is going this way, right? Let's demonstrate that. If I drive this joint, if the lid is going this way, then I'm going to put that back at 0. I want the handle on this wall. So I'm going to right click this and insert it into the current design. And then again, I want to get it just oriented kind of the way it's going to be. Let's see, this here is the side that's going to get attached. So I'm going to use that handle to turn it. I can type 90 to get it exactly right. And I'm going to move it a little further out so it's easier to see the parts I want. I'm going to press J to grab a joint control. Zoom in on that, and this time I want it flush against that face, and then it's going to go into the center of this one. Again, you choose the one that's going to move first, that's the handle, and then the box, and it moves in place, and I now have my handle. So I can animate that joint, that goes that way. It will go both ways. I get to control how it's connected to the box, so that's okay. I don't have to worry about the fact that it's kind of going a different way than I expect. That one is going up and over. Yes, it goes through. We can fix that with limits, but we're going to do that, like I said, later. We don't want to over constrain with our related motions. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a motion link now between those two. So under this motion tab, there's this motion link. It's the same as this one if you've got the shortcut up top. And then you choose your two joints. I'm going to unselect so that I can choose the handle first and then the lid, because the handle is going to be the center of my controls here. So yeah, they're going opposite directions. I want them to go sort of the same way. And for now, I want that handle to go faster. So every time it turns around, the lid should only go like, let's say 40 degrees. So the handle has to go faster. I like that better. Okay. And again, we can always edit that feature and animate it. That's okay. And if I drive Revolute 2, now the lid goes with it. Okay. So I'm going to cancel that. So we're back to 0 and 0. And let's hide the lid and bring in the platform. And I'm just going to drag that straight up again, just like I did the lid. I think I want the face to be looking straight out. There we go. That's about right. And then for this one, what I want it to do is be a slider joint kind of along that edge. And I want that bottom corner to sit right down into that corner right there, right? So since those are the ones I want touching, that's where my snap points are going to go. So I press J to bring up my joint control window, and I select the one that's going to move first. This time I want it kind of flat against that face. There we go. And then I want it flat against sort of the matching face here. So that's this one over here. Put that in place. Right now it's a revolute joint. We're going to change it to slider. And then we just have to get the right axis. So that's not right. Y-axis. That's the one that we want. Okay. And this one, I'm going to use this joint as the control of the limits. So I'm going to say it's got a minimum of 0 and a maximum, I think it's 5.5 because it was a 6-inch box. So that brings it right up to the top. I could go a little bit higher, but I think that's too far. So I'm just going to stick with 5.5. Okay, preview those limits. Looks good. So I say okay. I'm going to bring that lid back. And then I want one more motion link, and that's going to be between the handle and slider 4. And in this case, I'm not getting nearly far enough. So I'm going to say, I'm going to reverse this first off, and I can do math within this. So I want this to have to go around maybe 4 times to bring that up the whole way. So I'm going to say for every time around 360 degrees, this is going to come up 5.5 divided by 4 inches. And I'm going to say okay. And then when I come here, I can kind of test the results, right? So I'm going to drive the handle. The lid comes up 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then I'm stuck. So that's looking pretty good. The lid comes maybe too far. So we're going to change that one. I'm going to cancel this, change this motion link. And instead of 40 degrees every time, let's try like half that and see what we get. Let's say 25 actually. Say okay. Drive that revolute joint. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that looks pretty good. The lid comes up to there. I get that thing all the way out. Notice that I can no longer drive this one anymore, right? Because that limit locks it. And so we've got our lid with the revolute joint. We've got our handle with the revolute joint. Our platform has a slider joint going up and down. We've got our motion link between the handle and the lid, and that takes care of that. And we've got our motion link between the handle and our platform. And the only place we put limits on the motion, since everything is linked together, we used this slider and its limits so that everything else was controlled on that. And that is our little Jack in the Box project. Thanks, y'all.